What's up, CrossFitters? On this episode, we're talking to Shawn and Abby Warren of 220 CrossFit. Shawn and Abby are here to share their inspiring story on the power of family, resilience, and positivity. You don't want to miss this.
This is the CrossFit Hustle Podcast. The real stories on the grit and grind it takes to make it in the CrossFit world. As many rounds of advice as possible. The CrossFit Hustle Podcast.
Shawn and Abby of 220 CrossFit, what's up? How did you get into CrossFit? Like, why did you get into CrossFit?
Just to start off with, I was pretty overweight. I'm a relatively short individual, and I was getting just as wide as I was tall, if you want to put it that way. My wife and I started kind of training for half marathons. She eventually got pregnant with our son, Austin. I was unhealthy, ate fried foods, and every single meal I smoked, I drank a lot, did all kinds of stuff. So when we started kind of training for those half marathons, we got into the anytime fitness regimen. After a couple of years, that got really, really old. You know, training by yourself, just having you in your headphones, that was just not my thing. So in the midst of running, I started hearing about these things, these CrossFit gyms, as they called, boxes.
Around what time was this? How many years ago was this?
Roughly, I would say about 8 years ago.
Cool.
When I first started doing the research on CrossFit, I found a couple of local boxes, went on YouTube, got really scared, really anxious, and I just kind of started emailing one of our local boxes, went and tried out a class, and immediately fell in love with it.
That was when you started getting into CrossFit. At what point did you guys make the jump from, hey, I think we're going to become trainers, to eventually owners, to owning our own box, to building a community? When did that transition start to happen, and why did it happen?
The transition started off really when I went to get my level 1. I was into CrossFit for about 8 months. I decided that, you know what, I really don't know these movements all that well. I really want to start gaining more knowledge. And once I went to the level 1 course, it really struck it kind of pushed me to another level. It made me want to be more competitive. It made me want to push others a little bit more, just knowing that in 2 days, the amount of information that I gained and how much better it made my movements, and it will make my workouts. So from there, I came back to my local affiliate that I was a member of at the time, and I started coaching a couple of classes a day. And I really never, to be honest with you, had the goal to own an affiliate. I was working with the fire department at the time. I was coaching a couple of classes part-time, and I was content. What happened is my son, we went in for a regular checkup for my son, Austin, who is now 9. Okay, so it was a 5-year checkup, and they found what they thought was a murmur in his heart. So they sent us into a cardiologist. Eventually, later on that day, found out that it was a serious condition, CHD, congenital heart defect, something that he was born with that was never discovered. It came down to, we have to get his heart fixed now, basically. Being that it was a health condition, we had to eventually kind of quarantine ourselves and our family because his heart condition, he couldn't get sick. He couldn't take the risk of any kind of illness hindering him prior to his open heart surgery that he had.
And he wasn't in school yet at this point.
He was.
So it didn't allow to isolate him from everything.
Correct. And it was 6 weeks prior to surgery and 6 weeks after.
Wow. Including yourselves too, right?
Exactly. It came to a point where I couldn't even coach classes. It was, to work and back. And before I came home from work, kind of decon myself before I come in the house. Oh, that's true. We had just had our second baby, Anna. So that was another factor, that the little ones get sick a lot more easily than us adults do.
Sure.
But it started there. So we were forced to isolate ourselves. We eventually knew that we could not be around large groups or even a gym atmosphere for at minimum 12 weeks. So we went and bought some equipment for the garage, and we started working out of the garage. Eventually, exactly, it definitely is our therapy. It was our stress reliever.
Yeah.
Eventually, the people in our neighborhood started kind of seeing this strange looking equipment sitting in our garage. They constantly saw us outside doing things that they had never seen, I'm assuming. So we started getting a lot of interest. Hey, what are y'all doing? Do y'all do extra training? These types of things. And at the time it was, hey, we're doing CrossFit, but no, we don't train, and this is why. And we told them the story. Eventually, once Austin got better and fully recovered, we did start training a few people out of our garage. Our initial membership was about 20 people, and they were all from our neighborhood.
That's so awesome.
So they would drive by, hit that stop sign in front of our house, and just look. We'd get so many funny looks. It was crazy. It really was. But we started training people there. Slowly just grew. Yeah, we were getting. What's that, Abby? Got laid off. Well, you can talk too.
What you got, Abby?
Well, he got laid off of work. He had gone from the fire department to the oil field, and when the oil field started crashing, he got laid off. And this was about 6 months after Austin's heart surgery. We were training in the garage, and we were just at a point where we were like, okay, we're laid off. We have this equipment. Our son just had open heart surgery, and we have no clue what we're going to do. And we just got to a point where, Austin was 5, Anna was 3 or 4 months old, and it was like, okay, at this point in our life, we've got to figure out what we're going to do. He didn't want to go back to the fire department because he was already home Monday through Friday, and it was something that we just had a true passion for health and fitness at this point, because Austin was our motivation to continue to push, to be healthy, he was our drive to want to be better, our drive to want to be healthy for him. And he ended up being everyone else's drive at the garage. And we sat down one night. Shawn looked at me and said, do you think that we could run a CrossFit gym? And I just looked at him and I said, this is crazy. What are we thinking? And it was, I think maybe you can do this. You think we can do this? And we went back and forth. And that's kind of how owning our own affiliate got born, basically.
And at this point, y'all had 20 or so neighbors training with you?
Yes, about 20 or so neighbors in the garage gym. And we presented this with them because a lot of them came to the garage because a lot of them were intimidated by a CrossFit gym. They were intimidated by the big classes. They were intimidated by the no machines. They were intimidated by other things in a CrossFit gym, basically. The same things that everybody's pretty much intimidated when you walk into a CrossFit gym for the first time. You look around and you see, I know my first experience, you walk around and you see all these super fit people lifting all this heavy weight and doing pull-ups and muscle-ups, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, what is this?
I'm never going to be able to do this one day. And you get very intimidated. So that's why we had a lot of people at the garage, because it was a small setting. It was a lot of more one-on-one stuff. And so whenever we got to the point where we were going to think about opening an affiliate, we basically asked them, guys, if we do this, we want y'all to come with us. Y'all are going to be our base of starting off our own affiliate. And they were super supportive. They were like, yes, we're going to do this. As soon as y'all get going, we will help get members. We will help set up. We will help do whatever y'all need to do. They were truly amazing.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, truly amazing. So I want to say we started the process, and it took roughly 3 months with affiliation and insurance and getting our name and all this kind of stuff through CrossFit. And once we officially figured out what our name was going to be, then we kind of started rolling the ball and figuring out, okay, where are we going to go? Where are we going to be located? What are we going to do? How are we going to promote ourselves? How are we going to, because this area has a lot of CrossFit gyms, and the competition around with all the CrossFit gyms, we wanted to be located far enough away from everyone. We wanted to be in a good area where we knew we were going to hopefully eventually grow. And so it was a lot of planning on our part.
Where are y'all living in conjunction to where is y'all's gym?
We are roughly 2 miles from, yes. So we actually have a friend who was in our garage, and he said, hey, there's a building across the street from us that's been for forever. Y'all should come check it out. And so we drove by it and looked at it, and we kind of laughed because it is a dome-shaped, U-shaped building. And we laughed and said, oh my God, it looks like a zombie shelter. And it's, we joked about it for a long time, and we called the guy, and he said, why don't you come by and look at it? And I said, okay. And we opened up the door, and there was just a envision automatically in Shawn's head. He had it we got home, and he had a paper, and he was drawing out the floor plan and where we were going to put everything. And I was like, it was very overwhelming because we had no clue what we were doing. No clue whatsoever, but we were going to make it happen somehow.
I can't get over the support that y'all's core 20 members gave y'all.
And they were truly amazing. Whenever we came up with the name, and then we had a guy who designed us a couple different logos, and we brought it to them. Those 20 members helped us pick the main logo that we have on the side of the building and on the front and stuff. They were the ones who helped us with everything. We knew that 220 CrossFit came from Austin's heart surgery date, which is February 20th. We knew that we wanted the 2 and the 20, and we wanted it to be 220 CrossFit, not 220 CrossFit, not any other. We wanted it to be 220 because that date is something that it's a day in our life that we will never, ever, ever forget. It was the scariest day of our life. And it is the one day that changed everything in our life. It showed us so much about family and friendships and just the core of our life, and just the support that we had, and just everybody that day wearing red for Austin. 220 is just very, very, very close to our hearts. And we knew we wanted it to be 220. We knew we wanted it to have a heartbeat. We knew how we were going to try to do this the way to promote health because of Austin's journey.
If that doesn't define the human spirit, I don't know what does.
Exactly. And when we made the transition into this building, those 20 members and their families, kids included, came over here. They helped us put up the wall. They helped us paint. They helped us set up the equipment, move in the mats. We were open for a week before we even got the initial delivery of all our equipment. And once we got that delivery, there were people that took off of work or took the afternoon off to help us build that giant rig that's in the middle of our gym and finish doing all the prep work, just putting things together, cleaning, whatever it was. Every single one of them was here, and they stayed here until midnight, 1 o'clock some nights with us.
Wow.
It was amazing. Truly is a family.
That's what CrossFit's all about, is just literally makes better human beings. It seems to me like you guys started a self-fulfillment, and then it went to y'all's son, and then it transformed into how can we take this and make others what can this teach others? It's just,
Right.
like y'all have come full circle.
Completely. We absolutely have. And the last 4 years or so doing all of this has just been a complete whirlwind, but the reward behind it is amazing, just to see how people come together, that there is still that community aspect in so many people. We push family here. We do some things, for families in particular, that I think other places might not do. For instance, having a dedicated kids playroom. I know some gyms do not have that. Some gyms charge to watch their kids. You know what? We put a TV in there. We put all kinds of toys in there. It's kind of a padded cell, if you want to call it that, so the kids can't get hurt. We even talked to the owner of the building. We were able to put in a window so the parents don't have to walk inside and check on their kids. They can run, peek at the window. If everything's good, then they pick up their barbell and continue doing their thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it sounds to me like you built an immersive experience, so vital. And even, from the parents all the way down to the kids. I mean, everybody's got to be happy when they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You're exactly right.
What is it like being married and owning a gym together? What are y'all's different roles?
Oh, wow. Okay. Another long conversation, I'm sure. Let's start off at the very beginning. It was all fine and dandy at the beginning, because I didn't have a job. This became my full-time job. Coaching here, Abby ran a daycare for quite some time. She ran a daycare for about 12, 13, 14 years before we even started this. So she's still at the house. It was a certified daycare and everything. So she had her kids that came there, from 6 o'clock in the morning until 5:30 in the evening. So I would be up here at the gym, pretty much the sole coach when we first started out. Eventually, I became a police officer. I got a full-time job. I went into the police academy. That kind of changed some things. So she was not so much forced to stop doing the daycare, but it gave her an opportunity to do that and come up here and really kind of pursue what her new passion was. And that was CrossFit, and that was just helping people out, getting people fit, just fit for life, not necessarily fit for competition, but just fit for life. Let's be healthy for our spouses and our family. So I was gone, every single day with the exception of Fridays. I would come back on Fridays when I was off of work, but she was up here all the time. It did take a toll on us somewhat. Well, now the tables have turned even more. So I went to shift work. So I worked 2 days. I was off 2 days. I worked 3 days, and then I was off 2 days. So we had a good rotation when that was going on. I would coach this day, or I would coach this morning. She would coach that afternoon, and vice versa. We would flip-flop back and forth. No big deal. I accepted another position where now I'm Monday through Thursday pretty much. So I will come up here at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll get my workout in. I'll coach the 5 o'clock class in the morning, and then head on to work. And then Abby is here the rest of the day, pretty much as the sole trainer, as the sole coach. So it's the hours alone definitely take a toll on us. Especially having a family and trying to get all that family time in, but we work it out. We both do a great job of handing off duties and tasks, and we get things done, and there's been no hiccups so far.
Y'all are grinding it out. That's what it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
And,
so
and
we definitely
go ahead, Abby. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say we definitely make it work. It might be crazy hours. It might be he's falling asleep before I even get home sometimes because he's getting up early to come train, but he gets it in, I get it in, and we make it work, and we make it. And the kids sometimes they come up here and run around, and they love to be here, and everybody loves whenever Austin's here because, they definitely associate the gym and everything with him. So they love whenever he grabs a barbell and he wants to work out with the class and all that kind of stuff. So it's fun.
Yeah, that's great. We have a 9-year-old as well, and he's very involved in our business. Even if he's just there, if anything, it's teaching him lessons about hard work and what's really important in life. And we are working, and sometimes, he wants us to give him play attention, but the lessons he's learning, like when we travel, are just invaluable, or the people he meets, or when we go to competitions and things like that. School can't teach him that. Nothing can teach him that.
Exactly. And it's good that, we push for people to bring their kids up here, especially on Saturdays. That's kind of family time, and we want to make sure, I'm not trying to be mean in any kind of way, but we want to make sure those kids get away from those video games, get out, get some sun, spend some time with your kids, come learn what being fit is about, and see how fun it can actually be. That's really one of the things that we push is, hey, you know what, your husband, your son, whoever it is, may not be a member, but come on, give it a shot. Come spend some time with your family. See what they do when they're here.
Yeah. 20 original members. Are some of them still with y'all?
Yes, they are. We probably have a good set. I want to say probably 15 of them are still with us. Some of them had to leave because of, they moved or something of the effect. But we probably have right around 15 of the original members still. And they have helped bring in other people. Everybody is super motivating, and we are truly a big family. Like that's what, when people come and they walk in and after they've joined or after they come for a couple classes and they're like, man, it just feels like home here. We like it. It feels like home. And that's what I want the atmosphere to be, is that we are a family gym that makes you feel welcome, makes you feel at home, doesn't make you feel intimidated when you walk in the door. It makes you want to continuously come back every day and have those people who you work out with every day motivate you and push you to be here. And they are very good about, you miss a couple of classes, they will call you out on Facebook. Hey, where you been? You're missing out on workouts, da, 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 da. They're really good about holding each other accountable for everything. And that's what I have to say about our membership. Our membership is, again, no matter what class you come to, no matter where you are, we are a huge family.
That's great. It sounds to me like that's kind of y'all's unique positioning in the marketplace. That's where you're really
well, and I think just another thing that sets us just a tad different is that Shawn and I were 250 to 270 pounds. We smoked. We didn't work out. We were extremely unhealthy. We did not take care of our bodies the way that we should have growing up. Growing up, I was a bigger girl. I got made fun of. I didn't play sports. So I think when people walk in the door and then they see us now, and I pull up pictures of what I used to be, I think there's a connection like, whoa, wait, you haven't been fit your whole life? You went from that to where you are today because of your healthy changing habits. I don't want to say it was just CrossFit, because we started, we ran marathons and half marathons, and that kind of helped lose the weight. And we did the whole fluctuation of up and down and weights and all this kind of stuff. And when we did find CrossFit, it was what helped us get fitter. And so I think that people can relate more to our story because we haven't always been that fit type. We came from the 250, 270 pound person to who we are today. So I think we get that connection with a lot of people like, oh, well, if you can do this, I can do this. I know I can do this. And so, and the passion behind just working out and eating right and making sure you're doing things for your body the right way.
Sure. Yeah. And to your point, I would have never known. I thought you guys were elite athletes, you know. Who are some of you guys' role models that have made a profound impact on you?
The community as a whole, to be honest with you, as far as the CrossFit community, there's a great network within this community, you know, whether it be on social media or when you go to seminars, you get people's contact information, you meet them, you get to see, especially when you get into the level 2s and higher, you get to see how different people coach. You get to see how different people interact. And it kind of forces you to look differently at how people understand you, look differently at how people are going to take constructive criticism, you know, whether they're going to take it constructively or destructively. But really, my role model is the community as a whole, just being that, you know, we build each other up and we have to continue that.
Too many people to name, sounds like.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's great. And, you know, to your point, I've had this conversation with a couple owners as well. And one thing we're always talking about is, you know, if somebody goes to a CrossFit gym down the street and has a poor experience, well, guess what? They've hurt everybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we all want to help each other, and we want to build everything up because, you know, CrossFit in a business side of things, you know, we're competing against the yoga studio down the street, Orange Theory Fitness, you know, any new trend that comes up, you know, we want them to look at how much it's transformed your lives personally, how much it's transformed my lives. We want them to get that same experience. And it may not necessarily be at your gym. It may be at a gym down the street, but we still want them to have a positive experience because it lifts us all up. So
right.
It's so powerful.
Yes, it absolutely is. And that's what drives a lot of people. And that's what brings a lot of people to CrossFit, is that community aspect.
Adversity and failure are just the people that fail a lot are the ones that actually succeed in the long run. Let's talk about failures, some things you guys have tried in your gym over the past couple of years that maybe you thought was going to work and didn't necessarily work. And what did you learn from that?
So I can kind of chime in on that one a little bit. We saw a couple of years ago, the CrossFit community, about half of it was starting to get away from just basic, simple, original CrossFit. They were trying to get into, you know, this particular class, you know, this type of class, whether it be a strength-only class or a cardio-only class. You know, they started kind of branching off, and this was worldwide. You know, they would get away from the affiliation names of CrossFit, and they would become, you know, such and such strength and conditioning, whatever it may be. So we kind of went that route for a little while. We said, you know what, let's have this type of class. You know, let's have a beginners only class, then let's have this strength only class. And we kind of tried to branch out a little bit. And what we found, it wasn't a traumatic failure, but there was just a lot of negative feedback from it, saying, you know what, we just like the regular basic CrossFit stuff. We like the stuff you used to program, and that's what we want to do. So if I have to say a failure, that would probably be the biggest one. And it just came down to programming. It came down to, we were trying to push ourselves to be somebody that we weren't. We are not those people. We don't want to be a Globo gym. We know now where we stand and where we want to be.
Totally. That makes total sense. So when you're talking about broadening out, you're talking about different specializations, like a strength class and maybe a yoga class or stretching class, a mobility class, stuff like that.
Exactly. And we tried to go that route. We tried it for several months, and the feedback from it was just negative. We didn't like the way that members were. They weren't complaining by any means, but we tried to incorporate different things that weren't so much just CrossFit. It was like, okay, we're gonna do this today, and they're like, why? So we took that as a failure, and we came back to it and said, you know what? We're going back to day one, basic CrossFit, hard work. Let's do it. And the result from that has been phenomenal.
Love it. Love it. Stick to your guns. You know who you are. You found
Exactly
out who you are. And it sounds to me like you guys really, it's feedback from your members is really important. Like they drive the ship, and it's very important for them to have a say so in what's going on. Correct?
Correct. Yes, 100% correct.
That's absolutely right. If they're not coming in wanting to be here, if they have to literally get out of bed or get off of work in the afternoon and say, okay, I have to go to the gym, but it's going to be something stupid today or whatever. If they're not having fun here, then we need to change something, because this is a fun family experience. Working out should not be what I felt several years ago with your headphones and the same song playing over and over and over. Okay, I'm doing bench today, blah, blah, blah. This stuff is fun. We play games. They'll tell us, hey, let's play dodgeball for a warm-up. Cool, let's do that. So we'll roll with it. We're really, really easy going over here. And like you said, we'll just roll with the punches.
Definitely. Plus, with CrossFit, there's this level of accountability with everything that trickles into every part of your life. And that's the part that there's nothing you can do in this world to replicate that on your own. Like the level of accountability you're going to get is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are 100% spot on with that comment. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about getting the word out with you guys. How are you getting those people that aren't referral?
Social media. I mean, social media is huge for us. We're not big on posting a lot of pictures and videos and everything of like workouts and stuff, but we're really big on posting motivational stuff on our Facebook page and on our Instagram, and trying to be a positive reinforcement whenever it comes to the gym. So social media has been one of our biggest go-to. We tried running specials. We've tried doing the New Year's resolution, come in and buy, and we just see that it doesn't work for us. We will put, we noticed that didn't work. So social media has been the biggest thing of getting people in the door. I think the positive reinforcement is something that people are looking for today. Absolutely. People are looking for the positive side, because, we live in a negative world, and
negative,
yeah. And so whenever it's just, it's like I tell people, positive thoughts, positive vibes, positive outcomes. And that's how we have lived our life and really tried to instill that here in the gym now. I mean, I don't know, we haven't brought this up yet, but when we first opened in May, that August, our house and our neighborhood flooded through the flood. We had just opened up a gym, and all of our members had flooded. And throughout that time, we all were rebuilding our life, we were living in all different places at this point. And this was the one thing that held us all together. It was the one positive thing where they knew that they could get away from the sheetrock, get away from the tearing up of the tile, get away from the stress, get away from everything, and come here and have that positive reinforcement, have that positive vibe and that one-on-one, hey, how's it going, how you're doing. And we also kept that going on through just Facebook, and it's just word of mouth, and social media is what brings in most of our new members. Or meeting someone in the grocery store and them saying, hey, where you work out? Oh, I own a CrossFit gym. Oh, really? And then just a conversation. Here's my card. Okay, do you mind if I come by for a class? Come on by. And next thing you know, they're joining. So word of mouth and social media has been our biggest thing of bringing in people.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Shawn.
I just want to kind of add to her story. It's not only bringing in the people, but it's retaining those people. For instance, after everyone that was in our neighborhood and, this south side of Youngsville, when we had that great flood of 2016, as I call it, there was people that came to us and said, look, I have to rebuild my house. There's no way I can pay for this. There's no way I can continue with CrossFit. I'm sorry. Well, I talked to Abby and I told them straight up, well, you're not quitting because I'm not going to let you. And the next 3 months are on me. So you need to come over here. This is your outlet. If this is what keeps you sane, then you need to keep it up. I can eat the cost for a couple of months. It's not a big deal. And that was, above and beyond what they ever expected of an owner of a gym, because a lot of gyms you'll go into and you're a number, or you are the barcode that gets scanned on your ID card when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever kind of system they have. Well, you know what? When you walk in this gym, you're high-fived, you're told, hey, what's up? If it's not by me or Abby or one of our other coaches, then it's going to be by the members outside. You don't just walk in this gym and sit down in the corner. Everybody talks to everybody. This is the true meaning of family over here. And that's just what keeps people coming back.
Absolutely. Do you guys feel like you discovered your true passion or your true calling later in life?
Absolutely.
Because y'all, it sounds to me like y'all would do this for free. Y'all truly love this. That's what it's
totally. I say all the time, if I win the lottery, or my family always says, if we win the lottery, we're going to build you the biggest, nicest gym, and you're not going to have, and I said, I'd do this for free, because it has become such a true passion. When somebody stops me in the store and we start talking, Shawn just kind of walks, because he knows I'm going to be talking about it for about 45 minutes or so, because I have a passion. I am very, it's a true passion, and it is. I don't want to say an addiction, but it is what drives me every day. It is what drives me to become a better person, a better mother, a better wife, a better sister, a better daughter. However, it drives me to become better. And whenever I come out, I could be in the worst mood, wake up grumpy, I don't want to do anything, and I get up here, and it could be anything of just a 30-minute run, bike, row, or whatever. And when I'm done, I am in so much of a better mood, and it just makes me positive, and it makes me happy. And it makes me smile. And whenever people walk in the door and they're in a bad mood from having a rough day, and they get done and they're laying down on the ground, and you go and they're high-fiving you, and you're like, yeah, and they get up and they're smiling. Just to know that one workout that we've written on the board has changed your mood for the day is what makes it worth every single workout. And, I love how we're all very different boxes, but yet a community all together. That's what I love about CrossFit. It doesn't matter. Our membership is more of like the family and the older crowd. And, you know, both of our parents come here and do CrossFit. And so both of our parents are over 60 years old, and they both come here and they modify it. They do what they want to do. If they can't do a movement, they completely do another movement, and go for it. You are here, you are moving, and that's what counts. I am keeping you off of your couch and I am keeping you moving, and that is what it's about.
That's so awesome. Do they bring any of their friends?
My mom does. My mom brought in some of her friends. And so they come in, and if it's squat, they squat as low as they can squat. If it's something that they can't do overhead, then they'll just modify the movement to something else. And yes, they have brought in other friends. And it's fun. It's because they laugh and they giggle and they make that hour fun. And that's one of the other things that I have always said, that if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. If you don't laugh at least one time while you're here, something's wrong.
Yeah, y'all aren't doing your job right, or
Exactly.
not getting the right experience. Shawn, when do you sleep if you're waking up at 3 every morning?
Sleep is kind of a thing of the past, to be honest with you. It all kind of started when I was with the fire department. You know, there was times when I worked 24, 48, or 72-hour shift, and I would have minimal sleep. So my body started adapting to that when I became a police officer and started the shift work. Very much so is the same thing, but I was working 12-hour shifts. So I'd work 12 hours, come home, sleep for 3 or 4 hours, come work out, get ready for work, and go back to work. But, I go to sleep about 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'll sleep a few hours, and 2:30 in the morning, I'm waking up and I'm ready to go. And I guess it's just that drive. It's that drive of exactly like you just said. If I don't work out in the morning, it's going to ruin my day. So let's get up, let's make things happen and do it.
Let's get to work. You had a saying you said earlier that I thought was amazing.
Positive thoughts, positive vibes, positive outcomes. It's my favorite. I live by it.
I love that. I want to close it with you guys. If there's anything, a cause or anything you want to plug, here's your opportunity.
We're just trying to maintain style for everybody. We're not trying to be elite athletes, or, for lack of a better term, fit for family. That's the way I think about it. I am maintaining my fitness so I can be around longer with my family. If I continued things that I was doing earlier on in life, there's no way I'd still be here today. I can guarantee you that. But, just come by, give us a try. If you've never tried CrossFit before, it doesn't have to be us. Like we've talked about several times, we are a community. We want you to have that positive experience. If you went somewhere else and you loved it over there, great. That is awesome. We're just trying to spread the word of fitness. Let's get fit for life. Exactly.
Love it. Get fit for life. Shawn and Abby Warren, thank you guys so much. Shawn and Abby Warren of CrossFit 220. Truly family first. And thank you all listening out there. Please like, share, subscribe. We'll be back soon with more episodes. This is the CrossFit Hustle Podcast.
Presented by Southern Apparel, your gym's t-shirt and merch easy button.